welcome to Crosschoke, a TFL podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Zach Anderson. Each week, I'm joined by the one and only Dakota Wrightan. We have combined experience in MMA, music, ministry, and food. We hope we add value to your day. Now, enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's the cross. Jesus went to that cross, and he took the stripes, and he took the nails, and he bore all those things for us. 3 days later, up from the grave, he arose. 3 days later, he rose as King of Kings and as the Lord of Lords.
Good evening, y'all.
Good evening, y'all.
Good
Yo,
evening,
yo.
y'all. Yo. Yo.
Yo.
10:15 at night.
Yeah, that's right.
Feels like 2
Move a little
a.m.
closer to your mic, too. Get like
Roger that.
There you go.
Is that better?
Dakota, how you doing?
Good, man. What about you?
I kind of feel like I sounded like a movie guy. Dakota, how you doing? Hey, I get no respect around here, huh? Oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 8 of Crosschoke, a TFL Ministries podcast. I am one of your hosts, Dakota, and I am joined by the wonderful Zach.
Hey, that's me. But Dakota, we have something very special for the Crosschoke community today.
Yes, we do. We are joined by someone else as well.
The Dark Knight himself.
That's right. Bringing us back.
I'm not going to explain what that means, but I'll let you do that if you'd like. It's a really esteemed, respected nickname.
It is.
I like A-Train.
A-Train.
DK's fine, though.
So I get this okay, Alex Sexton, if our community, no, but I get this text from Alex one day, and we have this thing. We've worked together at one of his businesses, and I'd always be like, A-Train, just the hype train, right? And so he sent me this video one day of his little daughter Emma reading a book by Dr. Seuss, and it's one of those rhymes things, and she's reading it. She goes, A-Train, A-Train, A-Train.
I will not eat them on a train. I'm in the background going, yes, I'm all getting pumped up. Because that's how Zach used to pump me up before work.
That's what I'm talking about.
Alex, well, thanks for joining us, brother.
Thank you guys for having me. For real.
Yeah.
I listen to all your podcasts. I love working out at the gym because I'm a YouTube listener, and you guys have like this business card. It doesn't change. It's the same thing. So when people walk by, they know exactly what I'm listening to.
That's
Or
what
if I'm on the treadmill and someone's on the treadmill next to me and they're looking at my phone, they know that I'm listening to Crosschoke.
Oh, cool, man. Well, thanks for being such a big supporter. Podcast sponsor as well. We'll talk about that more with Next Generation and your empire that is building slowly and surely.
You know what's funny is when you were on the podcast and when it was the TFL Revolution, I would listen to you all the time. So it's really funny hearing that.
Kind of come full circle, yeah. Because
Right.
back in the day, and two, if you're listening to this besides on YouTube, our archive of old episodes are still there. I mean, from years ago. So you could kind of go back to when Alex was semi-co-host
Right.
back at TFL Revolution days. So
Absolutely.
that our first episode, quiz time. What is the first episode of TFL podcasting? What's the title?
UFC 200 or something.
Okay. Brock Lesnar and Hillary Clinton were our like topics of this show, right? And to this day, when I look at the status and data of Crosschoke, that episode gets like at least 2 listens a week. It's still, because I've considered going back through and just deleting those.
Sure.
But they're our heritage. They're some of them are rough, and our boy Jake picked it up when I was gone, so it lives on.
That one where you were gone and it was just me and Jake. I had no idea what we were talking about.
Oh yeah, because he would just spit through like one of the UFC cards,
And I'm like, yep, yeah. Wow.
And he goes, "Who do you think's gonna win that one, Dakota?"
And I'm like, who's bigger? Them.
We used to do something called Spitfire. That was fun. I
Oh,
can't remember
yeah.
do you remember what that was about?
Would we just try to ask questions quickly to each other? Was that Spitfire?
I think so. Like I think one question I remember was, and Dakota, you can answer this one. Technology, is it going to save the world or end the world?
Both. It's gonna save it and then end it and then save it again.
It's gonna create its own enemy just to kill it.
That's right.
Dakota has a lot of wisdom when it comes to apocalypse-style questions. What was that question?
The lightsaber.
Yes, it was if you had the chance to have a lightsaber or solve world hunger,
And
which
he had
one
a
would you
great
do?
Answer.
Oh yeah.
And I remember the answer.
That's
it was,
right.
It was cure hunger for just a day, because I could do a lot with the lightsaber.
That's right. I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt right now, man.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's why I listen to you guys, is because both you guys are super intelligent, and both you guys know what you're talking. No, seriously, yeah. And it's
In my
nice.
own way.
It's nice to have an intelligent conversation.
That's true.
With my.
I think Dakota and I, it's usually just us. We had a couple of guests or whatever, but I think we do complement each other quite a bit. With kind of his take on things, my take on things, and we actually have a segment that we haven't used yet, or a soundbite technically.
Yeah.
That is 50-50. If
I'm hoping to use it this season.
I hope we use it right now.
I don't.
Well, okay. Here it is.
By the way, season 2, I will join you guys on whatever episode or at whatever season. Anytime, I'm always a phone call away.
All right. Perfect. And we have software now to where you don't necessarily have to be here.
No, I'll be here.
Well, just saying. We that's a little announcement, a little plug there that we could be.
Curtis Hoppy, if you're listening.
No, I was going to say that could be a big star coming on soon. Our boy Curtis Hoppy.
I would love that.
Well, let's open things up.
All right, so first, I just wanted to mention in season 1, we talked about how we wanted to limit our episodes to about 45 minutes out of respect to your time. We are completely scratching that, throwing that out of the corner.
We don't respect you
we
at all.
We can care less about your time. No, I'm just kidding. No, here's the thing. We just really want the conversations to flow, and if they take 2 hours, hopefully not. But if they do take 2 hours, then they're going to take 2 hours. And it's important for us to record actually good content and not just release an episode every week just to say that we do it, which is why we are actually doing podcasts now once every 2 weeks. And we're going to try not to take a break like we did this year around Christmas time.
But, and that's part of why we want to just continue to have good content, put a lot more into every other week rather than, just kind of shotgunning an episode every week. And I enjoyed that.
Especially because our lifestyles are so busy right now and so hectic.
Yeah.
My daughter keeps me so busy.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, I'm balancing ministry and work, family, all this stuff.
You have a lot of irons in the fire, and you do a great job.
I really appreciate that. This month has been super crazy, so I'm hoping February will be, or I'm sorry, March. See, I don't even know what
let's
month we're
catch
in,
up.
man.
So with that, we just want to keep our content good and rocking and rolling. So, number 2 is we just wanted to remind everybody to please leave us a review. I've had a lot of good feedback again, just personally. People love the podcast kind of thing.
Right.
People tell us about that. I don't know if they're. I don't know how to take it sometimes.
I don't know if they're actually listening.
Yeah, like
they're just like
I don't know. And I don't want to go around being like, hey, you listen to the podcast, because then I feel like I'm shaming someone. I don't know, whatever.
Or like bloating, strutting.
Yeah,
stuff.
hey, did you listen to last week's cross joke episode? I know you didn't because I could see the stats. But anyways, if you are listening and a steady listener out there, please leave us a review on whatever podcast service you like. And also, feel free to be engaged on tflministries.com/podcast and let us know where we mess up. Let us know what we could do better.
Yeah.
Let us know what you'd like to see Crosschoke turn into. Because, again, we want to make sure that this is listener-driven as much as possible and not our agenda. But, again, I don't think people mind that,
No.
that we kind of come with this idea. But, again, if you want to be a part of it, let us know. Again, we love your feedback.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout-out on the podcast and everything.
That's right. I'll get you tattooed on Dakota's face.
We'll give you a cool animal nickname.
Oh.
Like Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Or like duck-billed platypus.
Or like
A Lions fan.
Did you know a narwhal is an actual animal?
Dude, right?
I just
That's
found
the one
that
with
out
the-
a couple weeks
It's like
ago.
a unicorn whale, right?
Yeah. I thought it was not a real animal.
Okay, I keep thinking of the PS4 game called Starwall. You ever played that one?
No.
So you basically you're narwhals, and it's like a 4v4. I mean, not 4v4. One. It could be 1v1 if you have 3 players. It's,
okay.
that kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
battle royale-ish thing but local screen. And whatever. Okay. Anyways, but you could like dress up your narwhal and stuff. But your whole idea is to skewer the other starwhals with your little unicorn horn. And I think you have like 3 lives or something.
And
It's
why are
really
they
fun.
called star walls?
I don't know. I think it's just to change.
Do they have stars on their backs
I don't
or
know.
something?
Maybe your lives are.
Maybe you're a
stars.
narwhal, but you're dressed up like a celebrity, like Donald Trump or something.
Yeah, they have like skins you could buy.
Maybe
and
that's
stuff,
why
yeah.
it's called Star Wall.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
We should play it now.
Anyways, maybe that's going to be Alex's new rolling name is Narwhal, Starwall.
Dang it.
He just-
I'm waiting for one.
He just has his head out there and.
Like, how many of these jiu-jitsu classes do I have to go to before I get a jiu-jitsu nickname?
Oh well,
You still don't have a jiu-jitsu name?
Well,
Well-
kinda. I got A-Train, and then I got Dark Knight.
Oh, those are pretty good.
Nipples.
He's
Just don't roll no gi.
well, no, he's fixed now.
Oh,
Yeah, I had surgery. I'm not even kidding.
He's better now.
Yeah,
Oh,
due
okay.
to this is no joke. Due to all the estrogen in my house, I had to get surgery.
dude, no. I can.
That's as far as I'll say.
I mean, we were talking about that last time we were hanging out, dude. You got female dogs, and your dog was having babies,
And they're all female.
and your wife's pregnant with a girl,
Which
and you have
makes
2 girls.
Makes my third girl.
and your wife's a female.
I have cats that are sisters.
Seriously, if you need to come over to my house sometime, like, cause
If you just want to arm wrestle,
I try to bring extra, like I go home, I'm like, all right, bring testosterone to this house.
lower your voice a
And I
couple.
walk in, and I walk
Hey,
in, and I let my
ladies.
beard grow out, tear my jacket off, and I'm just like ready to just like testosterone.
but here's how cool Alex is because at that time when he walks in with that attitude, little Adley goes, "Daddy, can we paint our nails?"
You want me to take my shoes off? My toenails are green.
Except she calls you A-Train.
Yeah.
Honey, call me A-Train from now on, please. All right, with that, shall we get into our main segment, Hit It Home?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Alex
Sexton. What's up, man?
Hey now.
Hey, now.
Hey now.
Well, brother, so for those of you that don't know, Alex Sexton, longtime friend of mine. We've known each other, man, I don't know, quite a while now. I don't know what
Close
that
to a-
means. 10
close to a
years?
decade, yeah,
At
I'd
least
say.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so we've known each other there. You've been in MMA. You've had some fights. You've done boxing prior to that. A really good competitor there. You've known Christ for a while now. Born in Butte. Again, we kind of just talked about your family. Born in Butte?
Reborn in Butte,
Reborn. Oh, how about that? Where are you originally born?
California.
Oh, I knew that. But you've been in Butte for quite a while now,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
kind of home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 20,
So-
25 years or something like that.
Okay, that's a chunk of time.
I mean, and you're only 26, so.
That's right. But businessman, longtime friend, brother. I love you more than most people on the planet. Well,
Feelings
not,
mutual.
Not that I have like this scale of love.
Oh,
for
you do. No, I know where I'm at on the scale, Zach. You don't have to.
You're right
sugarcoat
there, bro. Okay.
it. No.
Okay, I'll admit you're a little higher, but
Yeah, what are you like, 6'1"?
Yeah, I'm literally a little bit taller.
6'1", 180.
Yeah, that's right. Holy cow. Wow, am I Isaac Miller, man? That's what he is.
Shout
he's,
out,
He's
Isaac.
6'3" and 180 pounds.
Yeah, last time he was in church, he made me feel uncomfortable. I made him go away. No, because I'm looking up at him now. I'm like, oh boy.
I know.
It's weird because most people aren't taller than me, right?
Unless you're in the Lopez Alvarez wedding, where
That
half
was a-
of the
that was-
groomsmen are
dude,
taller than
We were
you.
in this wedding, our friend Luis, and just the sea of men. You would have loved it.
Just big.
Big guys were all the groomsmen, and I mean we're all like over 6 foot, and so I mean, that was kind of fun.
But yeah, he's still a teenager too, so it's like,
Right.
yeah, wait till he's 25, 30. So
35. So, Alex, why don't you kind of tell us maybe a little bit about yourself? What are some kind of your aspirations in life? Just maybe give us a little 1-2 about yourself.
yeah, okay. Well, I like Zach says, I'm my best when I am working for myself. You know, the best version of me. You know, when I'm working for others, I don't know. I just kind of don't like that. So yeah, I try to focus on business. My goal is to be, you know, financially free. It's not necessarily, you know, about money. It's not about money at all. But I know that if I can be financially free and just have, you know, abundance, I know I could help more people that way. You know, rather than just being in this rat race, you know, where you just work to pay bills and then, you know. So I shoot really big. I'm more of an introvert. I get more stimulation in my head hanging out by myself. That's why you guys never see me. No, I'm just kidding.
But what's interesting about Alex, though, is he always says he's an introvert, but he is one of the best customer service people on the planet.
And you know, I get a lot of people that tell me that, like, hey, you're so good with working with a lot of people, and maybe it's I don't want to say this, but maybe it's you know, my mom was a carny and my dad was a carny. I've got 13 brothers and sisters.
You got the showman in you.
So it's the showman, but no, you know, deep down inside, I just like quiet and relax and you know, a lot of people kind of give me the, you know, something I need to work on. But yeah, you know, I got 3 kids, 3 daughters. Well, 2 and then 1 in the oven. So.
And how old are they?
7 and 3, and then Jamie's due date is April 17th. So yeah,
Awesome.
You could almost like predict my life, you know, with all these women. You know, I'm that guy that's like, oh yeah, there's that guy that hasn't talked in 5 years.
He came outside to get the paper.
I'm glad you do an activity like fighting.
No,
That's like a great way to express all of that, like bottled up.
yeah, I can't explain how I feel. You know,
For
'cause
sure.
when I started this business venture, I had 1 kid and 1 daughter, and my goal was to invest in assets and stay away from liabilities. And now I have 3 liabilities. You know, very big liabilities. So, you know, it's just gotta keep moving forward. But yeah, that's a little rundown about me.
So you kind of mentioned that one of your maybe compelling factors to start your own business was the fact that you kind of don't like to work under others, that kind of idea. Is that kind of correct? Maybe one of the motivations to kind of be an entrepreneur style businessman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's many things that keep me in the self-employed quadrant.
Maybe explain that a little bit, because you and I have talked about that, kind of these 4 spheres which you could find yourself financially or business-wise or work-wise. So maybe talk us through that, because you refer to that a lot, and I love how that sounds.
Okay, but if I get going, just shut me off.
Okay.
Because this is one thing I could talk about for days. But yeah, you know, there's 4 ways to make money. There's E, an employee. There's S, a small business or self-employed. There's B, a big business, and then there's the I, the investor. And you know, you could always be an employee. You could always be an employee. So why not save that for, you know, the end or for when you absolutely need to? I'd much rather just work for myself, and then that way, you know, money's different. Money's different when you earn it yourself rather than earning it as an employee, because as an employee, you know, you earn your money, then you get taxed on your money, and then you get to spend your money. So everything you're spending is post-tax dollars. Whereas if I earn my money through a small business, I get to earn my money, then spend it, and then get taxed on whatever's left over. And that alone just saves you tremendously in taxes, you know. Rather than having Uncle Sam as your business partner, you could use that money, to build your business.
Sure.
So what quadrants are you in currently?
The left side is,
Okay.
is so if you were to cut it, if anybody who listens to Robert Kiyosaki or knows the cash flow quadrant, I'm on the E and the S side, which
Okay.
is the side that I don't want to be on,
Yeah.
which is the employee and the small business side, and I'd like to get to the investor and big business. Which
Are you investing at all right now?
Oh yeah.
So you're a little bit in that quadrant.
Kind of, but no. I mean, I want to be recognized through. The government wouldn't recognize me as
As a
being
full-time
an
investor.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'd be recognized as an employee and small business owner. But my main plan is businesses and real estate. So that's where you.
Absolutely.
Those are the two.
Amen to
Those
that.
are the two secrets.
This quadrant thing, I'm sure there's a lot of things you've picked up over the years as a business owner. What's something that you've learned that you wish you knew at the beginning before it all started?
Two things jump to my mind: compounding, and your choices.
Okay.
So compounding is just, what I mean by compounding. You'd find compounding in banks and through investments, but what I mean is, compound. If you wake up early in the morning to do something good, maybe before everybody else, maybe it's read a good book or get an exercise in, and nobody else is doing it, then you get that small little bump,
Okay.
that push. And one thing you got to always realize is the compound is always, you're never just staying in the middle. You're either
Okay.
going down or you're going up. The compound effect is always either working for you or working against you. So it doesn't need to be big things, but if you, for example, if you decide to smoke cigarettes and drink soda pop, it's not a big deal, but over time it's going to be a big deal.
That's my fight diet.
Yeah, right.
Diet Coke and cigarettes.
Right, yeah. Whereas if you were to read a good book, for the first 15 minutes, that you wake up and go for a 20-minute jog every morning, you got two beautiful, wonderful habits out of the way.
Sure.
And by the time you're done, it's like 6:30 in the morning. You know what I mean?
Right. Most people are still asleep by then.
Yeah,
Is
So-
that a mindset you have to commit to every day?
No, my body just naturally does it. I
Have you built into that, or would you say that's kind of been as long as you could remember?
No, I used to sleep till like noon. Till noon, before kids, you just sleep till noon,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
wake up and you do nothing, and then once you have your first kid, I mean, watch out, man. Like you start doing things like, oh, maybe I should stop doing this because it's
Right.
going to affect my family.
Absolutely.
Or maybe I should start doing this because it's going to affect my family.
So would you say that kind of starts in that second realm of choices?
Oh, yeah,
You
you're-
talk about compounding and then choices that we make.
Yeah, so the choices that you make end up making you, right? So the goal is your brain is so powerful, man. People don't need to go with what the school has taught them and be like, oh, okay, well that's that. I know what the school has taught me now. You can teach your brain to do absolutely anything, and when you have that ability to hack your brain, so much life just opens up. It's not just a tunnel vision of okay, I'm going to go to school and get a good job and go through that routine. So many more opportunities open up. You could even negative things. It's like, oh, I fail. I love to fail.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
Gary V right there.
yeah. Any successful person,
Yep.
you have to be okay with failure. In fact, when people come up and they're like, hey, man, I took your advice. My friend started a cell phone repair where you fix the screens. Hey, man, I took your advice. What do I do now? Go out there and fail. Fail as much as you can, And then they're like, my goal is to fail. and then they start doing things that they never would do. You know what I mean?
Risks.
Yeah, he's like, hey man, I went out and I tried to fail, so I went out and did this, and I went to all these businesses and they let me I was so scared, but I just was wanting to fail, so now he's got all his cards in like the Verizon stores, and he's just busy. So like all this failure that he was chasing is now,
Do you think that's a key factor in why a lot of people's like their businesses fail or they stop and give up on their dreams?
What's that?
Is being
Like
afraid,
the fear of failure.
yeah,
Not having your brain hacked.
and being afraid to fail and take risks.
Well, yeah, because in school, they taught you the things that you didn't want to. If you failed, you're a loser. They don't want you to cheat. No, cheat. Believe me. No. Well, hold on. This can be taken out of context. You know what I mean? If I see Zach and Dakota over here and you guys are just like killing it, okay, what are you guys? I'm going to cheat off you guys. What are you guys doing?
Right.
I want to, and
Right.
I run that through my Alex filter.
Right.
And I get what I get,
Kind of more a copy paste and then edit.
Oh yeah, cheat, bro. Cheat, man. Cheat.
Or just cheat.
Cheat and fail.
So, Alex, one other question in the business realm, in the kind of that sphere of your life, can you recall any moments where you did fail, but were better for it?
Oh yeah. Year
Every
number
day.
one.
No.
Year number one. I just failed so hard, man.
And what was the business, and when was this?
Well, I started, as you know, auto detailing. That's kind of what started me into. I started in the winter time.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, January 1st gets here, and I'm gonna start this new. And I started detailing January 1st, and nobody was getting in, so. Coming in, so I was like, any car, any size, any condition,
Wow.
$135.
Man, I wish I knew about that deal.
Yeah.
Believe me, other people found it.
Yeah. And I was working my normal job and trying to start the business.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, go to work for 8 hours, then go detail a car, which takes about 6-7 hours, and then like go live my life.
Wow.
And then at the end of the year, it's like, okay, minus rent, minus power. Here's everything that I made. Okay, so I worked 17 hours a day no kidding, I worked 7 days a week, no less than 14 hours a day for 7 days a week from January till April. And then it got busy, because the summertime.
Yeah, spring came around. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that year, I made $5,000 in my business after everything was taken out.
You still profited, right?
Was it worth it? What did it cost?
Yeah. No, it was definitely worth it.
But yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, that was a trial by fire kind of thing, and we talked about that in our kids classes at Imperial BJJ, our kids and youth classes. We have a word of the week, and I believe it was last week. Last week, our word of the week was failure.
Wow.
And what I wanted to share with the kids and the youth in our youth and kid program was that we can't let the fear of failure hold us back from trying. Because so much we're so scared of failing. What if I lose money? What if I, put myself out there and it's slow, or whatever with a business thing, or even, in the martial arts world, what if I try this new move or this new submission and just completely blow it? That fear alone can cripple us, and especially in our Christian faith, we get so content in complacent, in our little safe space that we are content there and don't take steps of faith because we're afraid we'll fail. And so whatever sphere it is, we cannot let the fear of failure hold us back.
Right. Now, mark my words. I've done a ton of reading on this and listening to books, reading books. Trust me when I tell you not to be afraid of failure. Do not embrace it. Go for it. Try to fail.
Yeah.
And
I love how you worded that.
Yeah. You cannot trust me when I say this, man. Do not be afraid of failure.
So speaking of failure,
Yeah. Have you failed in fighting realm?
Oh yeah.
So give me a good story about a good failure in fighting.
Well, I don't want to talk about the time I got knocked out, man. I got knocked
I
out.
almost think I shared this on one of our earlier episodes of Cross Choke.
Oh, really?
I don't remember. Want me to tell this story?
Sure.
Okay.
Was it
was
about malnourishment?
No, he was nourished fine.
Yeah, no,
He
it
was
was
fine.
probably the best I've ever.
Oh, he was ready to rock and roll.
Oh, you already know what story he's gonna.
Oh
tell.
yeah, oh yeah. This is one of the worst fights I've seen. Almost. Big
Ever?
person. I mean, pretty close.
Wow.
So okay, it's not like Alex got absolutely throttled. Okay, he was doing good. Okay, it was a couple rounds in. I was cornering.
Yeah, second
It
round.
was second round. I think it was my dad and I corner. Okay, so we were over in Bozeman, I believe, and so we were there. Everything was going fine. He was almost like ready to go, and then his wife called and said, "Hey, I just got in a wreck out front."
Oh.
So
T-boned.
right there, that already sets a weird tone.
Yeah.
And at that time too, there was like this girl I was seeing that was just floating around and in the way too, and that was just annoying. So she wasn't helping. So there was these things were compounding. And so anyways, Jamie was fine. She came in, all that stuff. And so the guy that he was fighting, who will not be named, was kind of a jerk. Anyways, so he's just kind of one of those guys. So here, anyways, we're in the fight, rocking and rolling. The guy keeps kind of taking Alex down, and he's working. I mean, Alex is in there. I mean, he's fighting completely the whole time.
Sure.
And so Alex is on his back, and he rests his head against the mat. And out of nowhere, this guy has this loopy punch and just rocks Alex's
Whoa.
head. I mean, square in the face. And
Against the mat.
and right, I mean, just it was 100% of that punch went into Alex's brain.
Oh my god.
And his nose was shattered. So I was holding onto the cage fence, shouting things, let's work, let's do this, and I felt it into like my elbow. Like, I mean, it was a hard hit. And so then the guy continues to just throw, just bombs.
It's on video. Even the audience.
I don't
turns their
want to
head.
watch it.
It's horrible.
Even the audience are like covering their eyes.
And
And your wife was there watching?
Yeah.
so, but the ref was horrible. I don't know if he was whoa, somebody should stop this fight kind of thing. So then, it was bad. Like it was like a hard hits, and Alex was messed up. So we rush. They stopped the fight. I rush in there, open the cage door. Alex is on his feet, just delirious as I've ever seen.
Wow.
Still kind of wanting to fight, not knowing what happened. And asking for Kleenex. I just remember him. Your nose.
You wanted
was
to
just
blow your
bleeding.
nose?
He knew something was wrong and
Yeah.
he needed Kleenex.
I asked Zach, I go, did I win?
So no, then after the fight, so they like somehow get him out of the cage, and my
On a
dad's
stretcher.
Because the punches, he got 7 in.
They were. I mean, it was like
Seven?
So he 1, 2, and then 3 I was out.
because it was 1, he
I
was
was out
dazed.
cold.
2, boom. 3, he was gone.
And then 4, 5, 6.
Why
and
did the
7.
ref allow
Yeah,
that?
was
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
bad.
I was furious.
I'm glad you're still here to.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Podcast.
So if you ever wondered why Alex has that weird little tick to his face, so then, but anyways, after the fight, he goes into some closet with the doctor. I don't know what. Then I couldn't find you. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was getting your clothes and helping them get the blood off the mat for some reason. Why I should have just went with you. But then I hear him going, "Where's Zach? Where's Zach?" And then he's like, "Did I win? What happened?" So that was one of those failure moments
Wow.
on a
Yeah.
big scale.
So let me ask you this, and this is a question actually from Brian Miller on Facebook. He asked, when life gets you down in those big moments, what do you do personally to get back up on your feet?
Yeah, so it all depends on how I'm like what got me down, because believe me, I can get down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of always go back to 3 things, but yeah, I can get pretty low sometimes just because I do it to myself. I think about the weirdest things, and most of the time they never happen. But I'm always thinking like worst case
Oh,
scenario.
okay. Yeah.
Worst case scenario. And like I said, like once you start having children, you know how your brain is like,
Yep.
I need to survive. That's what your brain like functions on, is survival. Well, then you start having children. You're like, I can't make any mistakes. Like, and then you start thinking, okay, what if this doesn't happen? What if this goes down? What if this happens? When I get really depressed, what gets me back up is I just eat. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was like, I wasn't expecting that.
No,
You ever seen his fridge?
no. I usually turn back to three things, and that's health, wealth, and relationship.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, why am I depressed? Okay, usually you could just wrap it up in these three things. How's my health? And usually when I'm super down, what I'll do is I'll go work out, and I'll think, as I'm working out, I'll think, okay, what can I do to get back on track? Why am I down in the first place? And then I'll think about my wealth. Okay, I know that I need to, I always like to live poor. I don't want to drive fancy cars. And,
Yeah.
I literally got like 3 pairs of pants, and like 2 of them have holes. But health, wealth, and then how's my relationships? Is my relationship with my wife good? Is my relationship with my kids good? Is my relationship with God good? I just focus on those 3 things: health, wealth, and relationship.
That's
And
good.
a lot of times I go back and I'm like, okay, quit being a crybaby. Quit feeling sorry for yourself.
Sure.
Your health is fine. Your wealth is fine. Your relationships are fine. Get back there and just get after it. So,
Okay,
that's
follow-up question. Do you have that tattooed on your body anywhere?
Of all my tattoos, I do wish I had my money. Tattoos are so stupid.
Thank you. Thank you.
Zach and I are getting matching cross-choke tattoos
That'd be
on our
cool.
backs.
Like 16 inches in diameter.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
huge.
Huge cross-choke tattoos.
Another thing is if I'm living on the outside, how I'm not feeling on the inside, that's a big one. This winter it wasn't snowing, and I own a snowplow
removal.
business, and it wasn't snowing, and I'm just like thinking, and I stopped working out. I'm like, okay, you need to make money, bro. You got, you know what I mean? You need to figure out how to, imagine if your wife wasn't working, you'd be really screwed. But my wife's got a career and everything, and fine. But I'm thinking in my,
You start to play those thoughts, yeah.
but in my head, I'm not afraid to work. I'll work at McDonald's, dude. I don't care. Like, I'll pick gum.
I did work at McDonald's.
Nice. But nothing against those who work. But I just love to work, and when I'm not working is when I get like my into my head. And okay, you're not living on the outside how you do on the inside. And that's when it becomes important too. You turn to your relationship. It's like, okay, the Bible tells us to give our worries to God. So what are you stressing out for? What are you? And then if your faith is big enough to do that, then, if your faith is big enough to trust God, then that like the moment you say that, you're just like, your shoulders go down, and you're like, okay, all right, you're good. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Switching gears. Well, not necessarily, but kind of.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, what was your first fight, and also why?
My first fight was with David Stropes in Anaconda.
Okay,
Do you remember that one?
I do.
And
Where you had your signature GNC shorts.
yes,
Was that one?
Yes.
He had
And
like
we
these
fought outside.
just tight. I mean, just. You could just see his
Some Ken
glutes.
Shamrock.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock stuff. Remember that guy on Ultimate Fighter? He had the tiniest shorts possible, but like a double XL cup.
Holy.
That wasn't me. You're not gonna say that.
But just some. Don't visualize. Never mind.
Yeah, it's
But
too late for
okay,
that.
so about what year was that? Do you know?
Let's see. I'd say probably 6 years ago.
He
Probably
looks at his watch.
2014. I'd say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
for some reason, I thought you have been a fighter like almost your whole life.
I boxed before I did MMA. I always thought like, oh yeah, that's I can do this, I can. And then like you go up against someone like Zach and you just get like your butt handed to you, and it was like 8 seconds went by, and you're like, okay, all right, and then you just want to beat him, and you're like, I'm gonna beat him this time. You're like, there's nothing that can hold me down, and then like he beats you in 4 seconds.
We've had some good training time together.
Oh yes.
Okay, so about 2014 was when you stepped into the cage, out of the ring. You had a couple boxing fights in between, did you? If I recall correctly, did you take any boxing fights and MMA fights kind of intermingled?
No, I think once I started MMA, I just focused
Was it
on
purely
MMA.
MMA?
I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
Okay, and now what was kind of your motivation to get involved in MMA specifically?
Just the cool factor. Just like, I remember talking with all my friends, like, how cool would it be if we did that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you're in there, like nothing, like, you're almost like, okay, nothing. Yeah, yeah. How did I get here? And then you hear the bell, ding, and you're like, okay.
You're like, it's so true though. We idolize MMA fighters. We'll use as a prime example of what it means to be a man.
Sure.
This idea of
I think about that every day.
what a man. But this idolization and then what is it called, projection, or where you kind of vicariously imagine yourself as that person.
Sure.
Yeah.
Visualization, that kind of idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you're one of the few to be like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Again, that you even back then, I think it's safe to say you didn't let the fear of failure hold you back even then. Back in the day.
Well, it's super cool because like you go to these fight events and like all these fighters, they're just in. Even if you lose, they're still like, you got in there, man. You did a good. They're not there to.
No.
There's a lot of humble fighters out there.
There's more than you think, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of the reason why I dog on old UFC these days is because they've made it such a WWE kind of thing, where it's this Conor McGregor pushing this Reebok.
I love it.
Ah,
I know you hate it, but that's because you're a fighter. As
Yeah.
just like a person who likes to just watch.
yeah.
I'm like,
and see, that's where they're making their money, is this entertainment value.
Yeah.
But again, it kind of the purity of martial arts competition has been taken out of it, and the guys that are there who are martial artists versus fighters, the martial art guy who's the humble guy who could still kill you kind of idea. He doesn't make much waves, therefore doesn't make much money for the company, and therefore doesn't get the fights he deserves.
Right. Like,
It
you gotta-
drives me nuts.
You got to have some drama in your, like, not just like a heart of like strength and pride and like a fighter heart, but you also got to be like dramatic, like
Yeah.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah,
He's,
yeah. So like, say if Alex and I are fighting, I gotta hate the crap out of Alex to sell the fight for me to get noticed.
and you got to get about 2 centimeters from his face for every photo shoot. Too.
That's right. I love stare downs though. I love stare downs. You face your partner.
I want to see
your
someone.
opponent.
I want to see someone go like this right next to a stare down.
It's happened. It's happened. I forget who it was. I've seen it before. He kissed him on the face.
Please let me know when you remember so I can watch that video.
I'll find it.
is that when he punches him too?
Yeah, then he puts his hand on his face. I think he kisses him and he puts his hands, shoves him away, and then it goes down.
Oh,
for a
that's
second.
awesome.
First thing you think of when you kiss your opponent.
So, I guess the question is why?
Fight?
Yeah.
Well, I don't fight anymore.
Well, why don't you fight anymore too? Follow-up question.
So you talk about failure. So another time that I failed. I won't mention his name, but it was right here in my hometown, and I'm like, I'm fighting him. I'm not even gonna train. You know, and I
wow.
had 2 kids at the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to stay home and hang out with my and then I fight them and lose in my hometown. And it's like, that was a big failure.
Ouch.
What did we learn from that one, Alex?
Yeah, you don't train, you don't win.
Oh, and why don't we learn that before?
Right.
You know, why can't we just take somebody else's advice, learn from them? You know, how often have you actually learned from somebody else's mistakes?
That's the way to do it.
You know, but I mean, how often do we actually do that?
Having a
Rarely.
mentor, like no matter what path you choose, you know, I want to choose business and real estate. So why should I, you know, because like the greatest thing you could learn is a failure. Mm-hmm. But how awesome would it be if you can get that learning experience through someone else's failure?
Yeah.
You know, so you develop mentors and you start trusting, okay, I got 3 or 4 mentors that I'm just going to follow and look up to and do what they do.
And I love how you're saying that you're going to look up to, that you're going to follow, because so often we think those people somehow find us,
Sure.
you know, and take us under their wing.
Right.
You know, but it's like, I have to, you know, it goes back to have a friend, you got to be a friend. You know, to have a mentor, you got to be a mentoree. You know, you got to actively do something.
Seek them out.
You know, yeah, like it's super important. If you don't have any, ask people.
Yep.
You know.
So I can confidently say that my life was a major failure before Jesus. When is the turning point for you, Alex? When did you come to know Christ?
Dude, only Christians will understand this, because you got to have an understanding of what the Holy Spirit can do. And as clear as day as I'm talking to you, I heard right here, boom, right in my heart, man.
Yeah.
And I remember the exact prayer. I remember where I was. I remember why I was going through it. You know, I was the type of guy that's like, I need to stock up on guns and ammunition because this world is going to, you know,
Yeah.
it's the
I still am that guy.
you know, it's good to be. It's good. Yeah, it's good to have, you know, whatever, just in case you need to, you know, go out and get a deer. Say you're hungry, you know what I
Sure.
mean? Go out and get a deer and whatever. You know, so it's good to have ammo and guns just in case. But it's actually how I met Zach and started training MMA. I was going through this point in my life where I hated myself, and I was like, I was raised, you know, in church somewhat, and I knew that, okay, you know, if you accept God, then you'll go to heaven. But I was okay with going to hell, and I remember I started training, and before I even started training, I was like, come on, God, do something with me, you know?
Wow.
And I'm not even kidding. As I was in this thought process, it's like the law of attraction, right? Do you believe in the law of attraction?
Right.
Yep.
Oh yeah. You know, I wanted this to happen, and then so I started training, and I met Zach, and you know, we would just beat each other up for 3 hours, and then at the end of it, he was like, "Hey man, you mind if we pray real quick?" You know, and I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do this," you know. And I was like first to jump on board. And we started praying, and Zach and I, you know, were starting like building Fight Life. You know, I remember when Fight Life started. And then he invited me to church. Ironically, it was the same church I went to when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, ironically. And there's the pastor that was talking. It was actually Lou. You know, he was like, I talked to God. And as soon as he said, you know, him and God God talked to him, I just like my brain shut off, and I was like, that's it. If God, you talk to me, then I can get through this whole belief system, you know, and start moving forward. And it was boom. That was on Sunday. I was praying, God, why can't everybody hear you except me? Let me hear you. And that week I was going to work, and I was turning left right on that Amherst, and I was praying. I said, you know, God, why can't I hear you? And as clear as day, bro, right? You know, the Holy Spirit said, you certainly could hear the devil real well.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, whoa. You know? And it was true, you know, like finishing my, and that was all that I heard. And on my way to work, it was absolutely true. It's like, okay, yeah, I used, you know, yeah, put this in your pocket, you'll save $20.
Sure.
You know, stealing something. Or, hey, look at those girls over there looking at you, even though I'm married. You know what I mean? or hey, swear or do bad things or whatever. Yeah, dude, I heard the devil every day.
Yeah.
And then that hit hard, dude. And then that exact same week, I went to buy an AR-15. Maybe I was even like the next day, dude. It was the exact same week. And this guy that was working at Bob Ward's, Howard, I was waiting in line. Everybody was, buying guns and doing whatever and talking the lingo. Oh, can this shoot a quarter at 300 yards? Oh, yeah. I didn't know nothing, And I walk up and I said, howdy, I got $800. I'm here to buy a rifle for, when, not if things hit the fan, but when it happens. And he's like, he put his hand on the table, looked at me right in the eyes and said, a gun's not going to save you, but God will. I was like,
holy
dude,
cow.
yeah. I was like, and I started to cry.
In the
Crying's
middle
healthy,
of this,
by the way.
of this hunting store?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Crying's healthy, by the way. I'm not going to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
That's crazy.
yeah, and I was like, dude. And I called Zach. He was like,
I remember this conversation.
It was like the middle of like one of the biggest UFC fights. You know what I mean? And he answers his phone and talks to me for 40 minutes, like during this big old UFC fight. And, we were just sitting. And then, after that, I was so committed, man. I was like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Roger that.
Yeah. Okay, got it. I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's been other times too, that just if you have faith. If you don't have faith, don't even bother. You know what I mean? But if you have faith and you believe and then expect it.
I can attest. Yeah, I can attest to how paranoid Alex used to be.
So it was not a healthy fear.
No. It was he was. I mean, constantly, all the time, saying, "Hey, man, are you ready? It's happening.
Wow.
I have this much cash in my house. I have this much canned food. If it goes down, here's where I'm going.
Wow.
This is where my guns are.
Yeah. Zach, you're crazy for not doing this.
Did you watch 2012 a little too many times? Or?
That was about 2012 when I'm not too sure what 2012 is, but yeah, that was about
It's the end of the
when
world
I was going
movie.
nuts.
But it's amazing to see as we have grown together, and I mean, I'm so encouraged that we're sitting around this table talking about what God has done in our lives, that we're all serving Him today, and it's just we have done nothing to earn it, nothing but say, all right, God, here I am.
Yeah.
So what would be maybe something, and you can answer this too, Dakota, is what would you tell someone who's skeptic about Jesus?
If you have an answer, you can go ahead, Alex.
This is so all my friends, all of them are skeptic about Jesus. Not all of them, because you guys, of course, but
Sure.
But like,
I mean, Dakota.
like the other day, man, I was just thinking, I was like, why? Like, what are you doing? Because you are who you hang around, right? But I've built that bridge to be comfortable enough to talk about God to these friends, but to these skeptic friends, man, like, I don't even know. Like, I guess, just live your life and just let God, pray for them, that God will open their hearts, and I just trust that God will do His thing through me.
I like that.
Yeah.
Here's another thing too. One thing I've learned is if you are skeptical about Christianity, if you're skeptical about God, try to prove Him wrong. Try to put something in front of God that you think He can't handle, and don't make it unhealthy. Obviously, I don't live my life trying to prove God wrong, but I can confidently say every time I've tried to do that, I've been unsuccessful.
Yeah.
And talk about learning from failure. That is a great way to fail. When you put a situation in front of God and you just put a little bit of faith in it, and you see that situation blossom into something amazing, instead of just like failing and not growing from that. Yeah, that's how you can.
Yeah, and key word is faith.
Yeah,
faith.
absolutely.
And don't be afraid to bring something big. I'll tell you guys a crazy story. You guys heard about that kid that got injured here in Butte? He's just a 6-year-old kid. He was playing at school.
Yeah.
And he was
right.
like life flighted and
He fell or something, right?
Yeah, and like wasn't supposed to make it. So Jamie, my wife, and I started praying for him, and I'm not even kidding, dude. It's like 3 weeks later, it's like little boy making full recovery. And this kid was like, his brain was swelling to where like he wasn't going to make it.
Right.
And now they're and it's like,
Yeah.
Right.
And really, I think to kind of summarize in a way, Dakota, is like to give God a chance. To let it, just try it. Try God. Try me.
I know. Yeah, that's what I say too. It's like do it. Do it. I dare you.
And two, a couple things that I always hang my hat on, so to speak, with skeptics and trying to share Christ with them is, of course, going back to your story, your experiences with God. And that's one of the spheres we could teach from, is your personal experiences, right? Now, it's important that we don't use that sphere as absolute truth either.
Sure.
That your experiences should always trace back to the Word of God.
Yep.
Let the Word of God speak for itself, and here's how it's impacted me. Right? Then from there, our personal experiences, rooted in truth, can kind of go to this other sphere of sharing opinions and advice, things like that. But it should always trace back to the truth of the gospel. You knowing the Word enough to where you could share it, apply it to your story, and share it with other people. Because again, the Word of God will not return in void. It's not in vain. So always just keeping the Word of God fresh in your mind, because you don't always have to say, well, according to Galatians 2:20. You don't got to hit people with that kind of thing.
Well,
What about those who think? I've done so many bad things. Like, I'm an addict. I'm a this. I drink. I do. What about those guys?
This is where I always go back to why Jesus came, is because it's for that. There's nothing that you have done that Jesus didn't pay the price on the cross for.
Yep.
And because I always think too, and we could always trace back to your story. Well, I've done this too, and this, but I don't think that results in a lot of positive things.
Sure.
When somebody's like, well, I've done this, and then you can say, well, I did it too, and I'm a Christian.
Right.
That doesn't quite work. I haven't had good results from that. But if I say, well, let's look at this together.
Sure.
Why did Jesus have to come? Always come back to him. Okay, he came for the lowest of the lowest, the worst of the worst. Let's talk about his disciples. Let's talk about the people in the Bible.
Yep.
Paul himself, when he was Saul, he calls himself the worst of sinners. But coming back to, okay, what does that mean? Well, let's see who God is, right? God created man rejected him, he made a way for them to come back. And that's the God we serve. And he could give you hope. He could give you a fresh start. He could give you life and life to the fullest. Everything you've, just start hitting these points like it's worth it. It's a breath of fresh air, like you kind of said, when your shoulders go,
Right. So these people that think that they don't have a chance,
Right.
what would you tell them? Just
What helps me is I can still remember all the bad things I've done in my life. I try to forget them, but it's hard for me to. But the cool thing is the Bible says that God literally forgets wrongs when we bring them to him, that he drowns them in a sea of forgetfulness. So when I come to him and I repent, he's like, oh, hey, that's my child, pure as day. And that helps me interpret that and know that.
And being a friend to that person who's saying, man, I don't think there's any hope for me. I've done this. Well, let's walk through this together. It's not a one conversation fix, too.
Absolutely.
That's really, really important for us as Christians to understand, because we cannot let the fear of failure hold us back from discipling someone else.
Right? It's a journey.
Hey, man, I don't really have all the answers either. Let's look at a couple stories in the Bible of guys who had no hope.
Right.
Let's just see how God worked in their lives. What do you think? Do you have a Bible? I got a Bible. Let's meet tomorrow. Let's look at this. How about let's pop open Google. Men in the Bible who had no hope. I don't know. Like, but that's real life together.
Yep.
And that's I don't remember the name of what you call that kind of person, but it's like a truth seeker. But like we have to be willing to not give a quick fix.
Right.
But like, hey, let's talk about it. I don't know.
Yep.
Let's be friends, Like that's important. And remember too, it's not our reputation on the line.
Right.
Yep.
We don't have to prove God to this person. We
Like
just
Dakota says, though,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can tell him, hey, test God for yourself.
Yeah.
Check him out, man. He's there. He loves you. He's got a plan for you. And
yeah. And here's a journal for you to write down some of your questions for God. Why do you reject God? Write it down. Let's go over this together. Pray about it, journal. Like that process is super important. Think about what it did in your own life. With maybe skepticisms or whatever, like rejections you had of God yourself, and what it meant to have that mentor or that person in your life that did that for you.
yeah,
That was good.
I don't know. 2 more questions, Alex.
bring it.
What advice would you give to new dads?
Not that question, no. To new dads?
To new dads. You've had some experience in the fatherhood realm.
He's about to be a new dad again.
Yeah.
So I would really, because it's scary. It's scary. So I would really focus on your habits. Make sure that you are making sure that your habits are good habits, because everything you do from this point on is going to affect your family. So, and you could, let's say you don't have a good habit. Name a bad habit.
Smoking.
Okay, so smoking. So
It's usually before my fights.
yeah. So smoking. So to break a bad habit, it's a simple formula. You just have to practice daily to not smoke. Daily. You have to practice daily until it becomes a habit. And then it's a habit to not smoke. Right? So practice for those who don't wear your seatbelt. Practice daily that every time your butt hits the car, boom, you strap that seatbelt on, and you'll notice that after a while, I'm not even thinking about strapping my seat. I just do it naturally. So because it's a habit. So you practice daily, whether it's smoking cigarettes or smoking whatever. Practice daily to not smoke cigarettes or crack until it becomes especially until it becomes a good habit. So
Practicing the positive of the negative.
right. So
if you're the opposite of it.
If you're going to be a new father, stock up on diapers.
Please change diapers too.
You could never have enough diapers. Always carry baby wipes with you no matter where you go.
Do you change your kids' diapers?
Oh yeah.
I met a
What?
guy. So I took my child out of church service, like during church one time, to go change her diaper.
Yeah.
And brought her back in. And a guy approached me after church and said, "Hey, where'd you go with your kid during service?" I'm like, "What do you mean I was changing a diaper?" He's like, "You change your kid's diaper?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "I've had 3 kids in my life, and I've never once changed any of their diapers."
Was he like, and I have no idea who you're talking about, but just stereotypically, was he like a manly man?
Nope.
No?
That's why
usually
it took me abroad. Is I was like,
You're like, what are you
why
talking
did you
about?
make your wife change all of your kids' diapers?
I remember when I first had my first kid, and I'm on YouTube, how to change a diaper. I'm like, okay, so put the diaper under there first. Oh yeah, of course.
So I practiced
They
on.
got to be in it.
I practiced on teddy bears.
Did you?
No joke.
No YouTube?
No. My wife taught me.
I remember it's like 3:30 in the morning. Where's my phone at? I need YouTube.
Maybe that's why he didn't change diapers. He didn't have YouTube.
Didn't
back
have
then.
YouTube growing up.
Yeah.
Any advice you would give to new dads, Dakota?
Just relax. Relax. Don't freak out. The freaking out is going to come naturally. Just relax.
Yeah. If you have girls, you're their first boyfriend. So
I've used
be
that.
sure to set the example high. And if you have sons, I have no idea. So
Me either.
do something else, I guess.
Good luck.
Because you guys both have girls.
Yep.
Oh. Well, we're no help if you have boys. Get them involved in martial arts at a young age. And
There
Yeah.
you go.
I know it changed my life. There you go.
There's some A1 advice.
Yeah. Dakota, do you have one more question for Alex?
Absolutely, I do. All right, just to kind of wrap everything up, with faith, with work, with habits, exercise. On the surface, you're very successful. You have it all put together. As I said, on the surface. I mean, we can all be vulnerable here on the podcast. But here's just a question that I think really wraps everything up. How do you balance all of that in life?
So I got a good team. I got a very good team. I've been with my wife for going on 18 years.
Holy cow, really?
Yeah.
So you got married when you were 18?
No. I started dating my wife when I was 14.
Oh, there you go.
And then we ended up getting married.
That's awesome.
So that helps. That's probably something we could have talked about. I have a lot of experience in relationship.
Hey, we could do it on another episode, man.
Yeah. I could talk relationships. I know a lot about female and male communication, and that's what a lot of things boil down to is the communication between male and female. We don't speak the same language for one, so you got to understand that. But back to your question, how do you balance it all? You can't procrastinate. You can't.
I'm already failing. Good thing I need to embrace the failure.
You got to stay away from distractions. Focus on your goals. That's super important. Having a goal. Even writing in a journal. I write in my journal. The way I write in my journal is as if I've already done it.
Oh, there you go.
So rather than chasing something, I almost attract them to me. I write in my journal. Most everything I write in there isn't true yet. You know what I mean? But it's things
You're
that,
proclaiming things.
yeah.
Okay.
Everything's going great. Some things are true. I love my wife more and more every day.
Mm-hmm.
I got businesses that are flourishing. I'm the biggest donator in my church. Just things that I want to come towards me, kind of like the law of attraction. So you got to stay focused on your goals. And believe me, I don't have it all together. Believe me, one winter of no snow and I just go crazy. My whole spider web of things just burns to flames. I don't know what to do.
Well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So those are some keys, though. Don't procrastinate.
Don't procrastinate.
And,
there's things that you can start doing.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of things that you can stop doing.
Okay.
And you'll know what you need to stop doing.
Right.
Distractions are bad. It's like E versus E. Education versus entertainment. How much time are you giving entertainment?
Wow.
Whereas how much time are you giving education? You ask, do I invest? And I say, oh yeah. You know why? I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about investing in knowledge in my brain.
Sure, investing your time.
Yeah. In my downtime, as we know, we've had a very mild winter. So in my downtime, I've been putting myself through school.
There you go.
But not traditional school.
Sure.
I bought courses online that it's like literally it's like 100 hours of watching videos and taking notes and the non-traditional schooling.
Mm-hmm.
Things to keep you going towards your goal, keep you focused. Does that?
Oh man.
It does. I think really you're kind of explaining that it's a mindset specifically in balancing all this stuff. It's habitual. It's making choices on purpose, and it's getting in the right mindset daily.
Mm-hmm. Your habits.
Yeah.
What it all comes down to is your habits, your choices. You got two voices in your head. The one that's like, oh yeah, that's easy. And you got the one that's like, This is going to be miserable waking up at 5:30 in the morning to go swimming. Yeah. But
That's good.
But if you listen to you got to listen to one or the other.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to listen to?
You know what voices I want to listen to? The cross choke voices in my ear.
Hey man, bring it.
like,
I love.
Where is this segment? Well, Alex, anything else that you would like to share with us while we have you?
I think nothing off.
We
the
hit
top
it
of my
all.
head. I think I think we had a. Let's see. Oh yeah, a lot of people think they can't move forward because they're past. This is a key note that I had in my notes. Of all the notes I had, this is the one I'm looking at. But you can't let your past hold you back. The way it was explained to me was, imagine you're in your house, and everything in your house is your past, and your house catches fire, and all you have is a suitcase. Just grab those things. Grab the things that you can fit in your suitcase. Everything else, let it burn. Don't think that you're not forgiven. Don't think that your past is gonna. Oh, I can't do that because I'm this, or I've done that because I'm this.
Sure.
Or I've been there because. Don't do that, man.
Let go of the baggage.
Hack your brain to where you just adversity. If you're going through adversity, good. Enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying like what I'm saying is don't stress, bro. Like you're going through adversity, you're building those calluses on your brain. You're making your mind harder.
That's cool. That's a good thought to think about.
Yeah.
I like it.
Not mine, but
calloused brain.
Well, we're going to end this podcast with something little different. We're going to skip ahead right to Book of the Week.
When you look into it, you got to look into it. Look into it.
I've been
When you look
looking
into
into
it.
yay!
Alex, you are a crazy book reader, right?
Yeah.
Audible, books everywhere. You got journals. You get the honors of this week's Book of the Week.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
This is super challenging because
Yeah.
there's so many good books out there.
We'll let you break the rules. You could give a couple.
Okay, cool.
No more than 7, though.
If you're a beginner reader and you're
I
a
am.
beginner like
fourth
you're a
grade.
beginner like life change, like if you're ready for a change and you're a beginner at just like doing things, like hacking your brain, and you want to be on that next chapter in your life and you want to get a good start, read Grant Cardone's 10X.
I've read that.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Yes, Grant Cardone, the 10X rule. If you're a little advanced and you want to lean towards the financial side of things and you want to get your finances kind of in order, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I feel so intelligent that I've read both of these books.
Nice.
And I've only read at least three
books.
books in my life.
Well, you're off to a great start. If you need motivation, you want a book that's going to make you laugh and smile. I'm going to say there's 2 books here. One of them is Living with a SEAL with Jesse Itzler. It's a guy who invited a Navy SEAL to come live with him, and he wrote a book about it, and it's super motivational, dude, with this SEAL. He said he agreed to the terms that, yes, he'll come live with him under one condition. You do everything that I say.
Oh,
Yeah. And it was a Navy SEAL. And then if you're on the hardcore side of things and you want some motivation, I'm talking about hardcore motivation. Just to give you an example, the first time, the longest I've ever run in my entire life was 3 miles. And then I read this book and I ran 10 miles.
holy cow.
Yeah, because of this book. Because I'm like, yep, this book is telling me the right things. I ran. The treadmill automatically kicks you off after an hour. It'll shut. After an hour of running on a treadmill, you're done. So I ran 5 miles after an hour, and then I'm like, let's do it again. And that's where I was at with this, dude. And I was like, how tired are you really? Let's do this again. And that is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll get you going, bro.
And I haven't read that, but I've watched a couple of his videos on YouTube.
Oh, his book goes in depth. And if you're gonna I wouldn't read his book. I would. Do you have Audible? I would get on Audible, and you get a free book if you've never been on Audible. If you are on Audible, then you know that you get a coin each month. Use your coin on "Can't Hurt Me" by David Goggins. And then
That's good.
Those are 3 awesome books.
That's a good arsenal.
Did I say 3 or was there 4 books?
I think there was 4.
I think there was at least 4 there.
4 books.
Yeah, you didn't hit 7.
But at least 3 of them are good, is what he's saying.
Oh no, they're all 4.
He goes, wait, hold on. Here's another one.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm looking through my library and I'm just like, good.
Well, A-Train, the Dark Knight himself, we really appreciate you joining us, bro.
Thank you so much for inviting me, man. Anytime, I'll be here. Anytime.
Yeah, you got it. Well, Dakota?
I do have a question for Alex.
Yes, sir.
Alex, what song do you prefer to walk out to when you fight?
Should I play it?
What is it?
I mean, you can.
You know.
You can
Is
play
it
it.
the
Any,
Lux the violin one?
is it?
Or is it Get Your Gloves
Yeah, you know.
It's a country song.
I have it on. I'll put it on. Get ready to fight.
I don't like that motion.
Well, he's okay. So here's the funny.
Are you buttering up a turkey?
So
Zach, did you just?
we were.
see
It was
his
at
hands?
one of our outreaches in Lewistown, I believe, and we set up a cage in the youth room, and Alex was one of the fighters that night, and so we're like, "What do you want?" We had our walkout songs, everything. We tried to make it like a mini production. And I was like, all right, what is your walkout song? And so he played this song. It's called The Fight, I believe. And
appropriate title.
somewhere in there, it's a kind of a country song, and I absolutely hate country, but it's not that bad. It's like by a Navy SEAL guy or something. And he loves his country, things like that. And somewhere in the chorus, he's like, put your gloves on. And Alex is like, pretending that he's putting his gloves on.
Like cowboy, huh?
Well, this song I met. So this is Pete Scobell. He was a Navy SEAL for 22 years, and I met him.
Oh, cool.
And he gave me a CD. And
So this is a super personal song to you then.
In
that regard.
it super gets me going.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like it, man.
Now,
When
here's
I
the
hear
most
it.
important question, though. Does it get other people going?
Who
when they
cares?
hear
Who cares?
it? Yes.
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Dust. Put your gloves on, find the ring. No one around here's ever heard that fat lady sing. You can knock us down, but not for long. You can't take the fight out, or you can't take the fight out of the dog.
You know how, like, Scarab gets us going?
Yes. That's his
his
scarab.
I'm ready to get punched in the face. When I
Dude,
hear
he's
that song.
like, let's go. Oh, well,
I
good.
really regret when I was fighting not being aggressive. Like I was always like, okay, come at me, bro. But if I ever get back in the ring, I'm gonna be the one being aggressive. I
think you should.
I was always worried about because I boxed, and the boxing gloves weigh 16 ounces on each hand, right? So
Yep.
by the 3rd round, you're just better off to just get punched in the face than hold your hands up and block the punches. I'm not even kidding. It's exhausting. So I was really worried about that in MMA. So I was always like, all right, conserve your energy.
Get punched a couple times.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then save your energy, and then in the 3rd round, let it all out, and then
he'd lose in the second.
I lose in the second.
That's been my mentality with BJJ and rolling, is to be the tempo creator. That's been my whole mentality, because as I've trained for, I don't know, however long now, like 22 years, it's, you learn techniques, you retain as much as you can, apply them to your game, and just do that over and over, right? You learn, apply, learn, apply, learn, apply, and that continues constantly. But there comes kind of a point where it becomes a timing issue, or whose timing is better. Because let's say the same techniques I do, who's going to get it first? And if I find if I am making you reactive to me, that's the tempo, and I'm dictating the match.
Right. I should have learned that when I was fighting.
And the only way I've learned that is through failure. Is through being the lax guy, maybe the guard puller, maybe the guy who's overly just jacked and gets caught. But if you are a technical tempo pusher, I would put my money on that guy. If you're technical and initiating, but that takes risk. That takes a little bit of, okay, I'm going to put myself out here a little bit in a conservative manner.
Sure.
But guess what? I'm going to dictate every aspect of this match. So that's my fight mentality. That's for free.
Next one's going to cost you. Oh, we didn't even talk about risk.
A little bit.
All right, so quick intermission. We'll be back for the next 2 hours. Well, Alex, we love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you,
guys,
and
you guys rock.
Hey.
Thanks for having
Oh,
me.
you do, man.
you
No,
bet.
come on. You know you rock.
You want to start a business with me?
I had the I had the shiny toilet syndrome. Like as an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
You start like, oh, I can make money over here. I can make money doing this.
Yeah.
I can make money doing this. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? And it's like, oh, that was really hard to stop. And then I was like, okay, focus, put your time and energy on 3 things, or 2 things, 2 or 3 things, and just focus on that. Yeah, you could make money anywhere, and you can, you get, it's, yeah.
Dakota and I are actually starting a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. Gourmet ice pops. Okay, I will buy a package of ice pops. Okay. You'll love this. How much is that? That's like 50 ice pops for like $2, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll sell you an ice pop for 50 cents, or I'll sell you a gourmet ice pop for $1, and it has whipped cream on it.
There you go. That's not that's capitalism. That's not a pyramid scheme though. That's
But
not,
here's
that's
the
not like a
thing
Bernie
is-
Matt
See,
Madoff.
but I will sell you. I will go buy the popsicles and the whipped cream, and I'll sell it to you for $10, and then I get 10% of all of your gains. Is that still capitalism?
I think so.
I think it is.
You know they do that.
Dang
with,
it! I'm
with-
trying to start a pyramid scheme. I can't even do that right.
They do that with bananas. Like they slap the organic sticker on bananas. Well, all bananas are organic. Because they
Okay.
don't go through a process.
Gourmet bananas.
That's a business. I don't know if I'd start it though.
Zach, do you have a verse that will wrap today's podcast up?
Sure, I don't know the reference off the top of my head, but this verse just came to mind, and I think it's been one of ours actually before. But I
that's
feel like this is appropriate. We've talked a lot about business, management, things like that, stewardship. Really,
Sure.
with all these things,
Time.
is whatever you do, do it unto the Lord, as if you're working for Him and not for people. I'll find that later.
Do you know what the last time we used that one? Last time we had a guest on
Was
the podcast.
that Isaiah? Hey, see, here's the thing with me referencing scripture is most of the time I don't remember where in the
Right.
world it is, but I know it's in there.
Yeah.
It seems like a Corinthians verse or
You
Galatians.
know why we're like that? Because we have the internet.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
not
just-
forced to remember where it's at. So
Hey, Dakota, would you fill like another 10 seconds while I find this? Just go ahead. Anything. Go ahead.
fill it 10 seconds.
Go.
We could talk risk.
I've lost 8 pounds this week
This week,
since Sunday.
bro. That's too fast.
Well, dude, that's why I'm telling you. I have to slow my pace because the last time, so from May to September, I lost almost 90 pounds. And so I went to the doctor and they're like, so yeah, your gallbladder is not good. And you probably should keep it, slow it down a little bit.
Right. Well, how tall are you?
6'2".
Okay, so because you're over 5'10", you get 6 pounds for every inch that you're over 5 foot.
Okay, then I'm 6'3". No, I'm just kidding.
So if you're 6'2", you get 6 pounds for every inch that you're over 5 feet. So how much are you over 5 feet? Let's see, 12, 13, 14 inches over 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Quick math.
so 6 times
72.
6 times 14 is 72.
Or what? 70 something.
I stopped listening.
6 times 14 is 88.
6 times 14, 84.
Oh, dang it.
So 184, and then you multiply that by 10. So you could edit this out, right?
What? 1,000.
He says he will, and then he won't.
1,840.
Yeah, so that's how many calories you're burning doing nothing.
Perfect.
Yeah, doing nothing. Digesting.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying, dude. I'm right now. I've been consuming about 1,000 calories a day. So that's how I've lost just.
Dude, that's what I just ate before the podcast.
Well, the thing is, like, when I'm eating unhealthily, I'm eating like 4,000 calories a day.
Like think of a box of Pop-Tarts in a
Well,
big
remember when
bowl
I
of
was eating that popcorn?
you eat until you're full?
Past that. And that's, dude, no, seriously, that's a mindset that I was trained, like, as a kid.
Right.
Like, you want more food? Eat more food. Instead of, this is a portion size. And so I've had to retrain my body. And
Hack your
so
brain.
I've been on this journey because this summer I was like, okay, I'll eat healthily. That means starving myself, pretty much. And so I lost all this weight. And then I was like, great, now I got to lose my organs too. And so I got really scared. I gained back. I was 232 pounds after I lost my gallbladder. And I got all the way back up to 280 pounds. And this was since last May. And so now I'm at 265, which is not healthy, but like
You're in the heavyweight division of UFC now. You
I-
made it.
I look like those guys too.
You know they have to be below 265.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought you could be any weight.
It's capped off at 265.
Wow.
Did you ever see that book that I wrote on losing weight?
You wrote a book?
Yeah.
That should have been our book of the week.
Yeah.
You
no,
wanna
it's not,
send it to me?
it's on a.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, I could email it to you.
Yeah. It's like a an essay style PDF kind of thing, right?
Yeah. I could.
I think I have it somewhere in the depths of my documents.
I wonder if I could throw that in as like a if it's on a PDF, can we
I can attach
turn it
to the
into a
social.
link?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll send it to Zach, and I'm not
think
sure what you're doing.
Dakota might benefit from that.
Yeah, I really want you to. I put my everything you need to know, bro, to do it the healthy way, and it's 100% all you need.
I dig it.
I promise. Yeah, and it's only
dig
like
it.
9 pages long. You know,
I don't know, man.
He's only read 3 books. Is it
At
on,
least 3.
Is it
get
on
ready
Audible?
to add 4. Is it on Audible?
It's just 30 seconds long.
Can you get it with a coin?
So it'll be in your top 5 favorite books.
That's right. That's actually right. But
Nice.
anyways,
Good.
that's why I'm at where I'm at.
Colossians 3:23, by the way.
Yes,
I
Lord.
wasn't even close. Yeah, NLT version is work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people.
Yes.
May that define. A big word for me has been stewardship. I mentioned it a minute ago. But like,
Yep.
just to steward everything. Steward
Yeah.
your health. Steward your passion. It's okay to be passionate.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was this guy at Men's Breakfast the other day talking about like, we've been going through Oswald Chambers' devotionals. His utmost for his highest.
Yeah.
And in one of them, he was talking about our passions being laid down in the context of unto the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
But that does not mean your passions are wrong. If you're passionate about cars, if you're passionate about finances, if you're passionate about music, all these things, MMA, whatever.
Sure.
It's a stewardship of that passion
Yes.
that changes everything about it. So if we see everything in our day-to-day activities, our mind, everything as a way of saying, okay, God, how can I glorify you with this? That'll change everything about your life. And I think really take you to that next level of your relationship with God is stewardship of even typing, whatever. I mean, just social media. How can you use it? All those things. And so that verse is one I always hold near and dear to my heart is whatever you do it as if you're doing it for God rather than for people. Mic drop.
And that will prevent you from sinning.
Yeah, it keeps you on the right track. I
Yeah.
mean, here's what. Okay, this one's gonna cost you. No, just kidding. Here's one more free thing. Is I think we waste a lot of time in the vicious cycle of resetting after sin. We do really well, we fall off the wagon, whatever that is. Whether your devotion to God is all of a sudden you're like, man, I haven't read my Bible in 3 months. Whatever that is. Then you have to kind of reset. It's a story of Israel constantly.
Sure.
I mean, they go to God, they hate God. They go to God, they hate God. this cycle. It's like, why do we keep doing that? But I think that is part of this, is a consistent dependence upon God, dedicating ourselves to Him, which will keep us from wasting time in this, never getting anywhere. You know, and I hate that in my own life. It's
Sure.
like, man, I want to be where I'm not. You know, how do I get here? You know,
But you will always be like that.
yeah, and there is a level of perfection that we won't reach in this life. But again, this progress idea.
Yeah.
Just talking,
And we should be focused on that point too.
yeah, exactly. And I'm just purely talking progress.
Sure.
You know, if we're to make progress, get over to yourself. Stop sinning. You know, of course we sin. You know, we sin all the time. We sin daily. You know, but these things that we know, it goes back to replacing the negatives with positives. So often I think we get this mentality that I could hang on to what's holding me back and just add on these good things, these good habits. You know, but it doesn't quite work like an ice cream cone. You know, it's gonna tip eventually, but
Sure.
you gotta get rid of the crap and replace it with good. And I think that's the trick of dying to self daily. How can I get rid of the stuff that's holding me back and reach my goals? By replacing, not adding on.
That's good.
You know,
Did you just say crap on the podcast?
crap. You can't say bomb on a plane. Bomb.
What did you say on the podcast that one time? Oh, you said douche.
Oh yeah. Am
You're
I
like, "Can I
allowed to
say that?"
Yeah. Am I allowed to say douche? Anyways, all right. Well, for like the fourth time, thanks, Alex. For
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think we just might as well have a bonus episode or something. Nuggets of wisdom or McNuggets of wisdom, something like that.
How's your coffee?
It was good. Thank you.
Dakota, did you finish yours? Oh man. So we went from one extreme to the other. Last episode 8, we recorded at like 5 a.m. it felt like. And right now we're almost hitting midnight.
Which also feels like 5 a.m.
Time's irrelevant. All right, well, thank you. Remember to leave us a review on your podcast service of choice, and we'll catch you next time.
Next time.
Next Generation Services. Next Generation Services is a great name and number to have saved in your phone. If you're looking for a trusted landscape company in Butte, then look no further. They offer many services ranging from decorative concrete curbing, tree trimming, snow removal, and all your landscaping needs. Always setting the standard for professionalism and always just one phone call away. Check them out at buttelandscapers.com.
Thank you so much for listening to Season 2 of Crosschoke. It was a blast creating this episode, and we hope you enjoyed listening. Submit any fun questions, inquisitive comments, serious requests, or hilarious stories to tflministries.com/podcast. Feel free to follow Zach at Ando Butte and myself at South Friday. Have an amazing day and join us next time on Crosschoke. All right, so first we just wanted to mention,
That's going at the end of the podcast.